You've been posting consistently. The editing is sharp, the visuals are clean, and you're proud of the content you're putting out. But when it comes to brand sponsorships, your inbox is still empty. There's a common belief in the creator world that you need to hit 100,000 followers before a brand manager will even look at your profile. But the logic behind marketing budgets has shifted. Brands aren't just looking for the biggest audience possible. They are paying for relevance and demographic exactness. This side-by-side comparison shows the gap between what most creators assume brands want versus the reality of how 2025 marketing budgets are actually allocated. Most creators focus on the left column, chasing viral growth and broad appeal to hit that six-figure follower count. But optimizing for broad views often makes your channel less attractive to advertisers because your audience becomes too difficult to categorize. The right column is where the money is moving. Brands are prioritizing smaller audiences that have a high level of trust. Smaller creators often drive better results per dollar spent because their influence is concentrated. This is why we're seeing budgets move away from mega influencers and toward nano and micro creators, those with anywhere from 1,000 to 100,000 followers. Today, we are going to audit the exact checklist brand managers use to evaluate whether a creator is worth the investment. We'll look at the specific adjustments you need to make to your content and your operations if you want to turn a casual channel into a professional media product. If you're waiting for a specific follower milestone before you start monetizing, you're using an outdated strategy that is actively slowing down your growth as a business. To understand which changes matter most, we can map them on a quadrant chart. We're comparing the required effort versus the increased probability of landing a deal. First up is niche clarity, sticking to 2 or 3 specific content pillars rather than posting about everything. When your niche is clear, a brand manager knows exactly who they are reaching. It removes the guesswork for them, making it much easier to approve a partnership. The trade-off here is speed. Narrowing your focus means slower subscriber growth. Next is engagement depth. This sits in the high-impact, high-effort quadrant because it requires a shift in how you use the platform. Brands look past the like count. They want to see real conversations in your comments, people asking questions or sharing their own experiences with your advice. There are specific benchmarks at play here. For nano creators on Instagram, brands look for a 4 to 6% engagement rate. On TikTok, that benchmark jumps to 8 or 10%. Meeting these engagement targets is valuable because smaller creators often generate 50% higher engagement than their larger counterparts. The trade-off is time. You have to spend hours in the comments managing your community, which means less time for the actual production of new videos. Communities centered on a clear niche are more resilient than those relying on viral hits. They provide the consistency brand managers need to justify a marketing spend. The third requirement on our chart is demographic targeting. A local business finds more utility in 8,000 followers concentrated in one city than in 80,000 followers scattered across the globe. Density allows for targeted campaigns that broad reach simply can't fulfill. We see this advantage clearly in India. Creators who use regional languages see 15% higher engagement than those who only produce content in English. The trade-off for this targeting is a lower audience ceiling. It also means you must be diligent about tracking your analytics to prove your audience's location to your sponsors. Finally, we have brand safety and commercial infrastructure. This is a high-impact requirement that is relatively low effort to implement. Brand safety is about consistency. Most brands will disqualify a creator immediately if their content is controversial or if their messaging contradicts the brand's core values. Infrastructure is about making the transaction easy. Instead of manual pitching, brands prefer creators who use established commerce platforms to manage the relationship. For example, platforms like Zokera allow you to set up a storefront that connects you with over 1,000 pre-vetted brands. It removes the friction that usually kills most potential deals. The trade-off is that you are integrating your business into another ecosystem. You also have to commit to a level of professionalism that might feel restrictive if you prefer making more experimental content. Ultimately, being easy to work with and having a clear audience profile is more important to a brand than the total number of followers you have. Landing brand deals today requires a deliberate strategy. You have to decide which monetization path fits your content's specific strengths. This decision tree shows the 2 main routes creators take. It starts with a simple question. Is your channel focus broad entertainment, or is it niche and actionable? If you choose the broad entertainment path, you are taking a higher risk when it comes to brand deals. Without a clear niche, you'll likely have to rely on ad revenue until you reach a massive scale. If you want sponsorships earlier, you'll need to narrow your focus significantly. The niche actionable path has much higher viability for brand deals, even if your audience is still small. Your first step here is to prioritize engagement. Aim to push your rate above 5%. This is the evidence a brand needs to see that your audience actually listens to you. The second step is to build your commercial infrastructure. Setting up a storefront on Zokera gives you a professional presence and lets your audience earn cash back, which drives the sales brands are looking for. As a nano or micro creator, your biggest asset is the high level of trust you have with your followers. Modern brands are prioritizing that trust over raw views. You don't need to wait for 100,000 followers to build a business. You just need an audience that is defined and measurable. By focusing on niche clarity and professional infrastructure, you can start landing partnerships and generating revenue long before you hit those old-school follower milestones.